Welcome to the Miami Lakes Business Podcast. This morning we have with us a dear friend. Some people, I call it the people's senator, somebody that everybody likes and everybody loves. And we have with us Dade County Commissioner Rene Garcia, Senator Rene Garcia. So welcome to our podcast, Commissioner.
Yeah, Fred, no, it's exciting to be here. It really is nice to see what you and the Chamber are doing on a daily basis to make sure that we get the business community involved and make sure that people shop local. I'm a big fan about shopping local. We have a campaign on shopping local here, not only in District 13, but across Miami-Dade County. So I thank you very much for what you're doing here in District.
Our pleasure. Tell me a little bit about why do people perceive you as the people's person?
Oh, well, why they perceive me? Look, I honestly believe that public service should be taken very seriously. And I think everyone that starts in politics starts off wanting to make a difference, wanting to change, do better for their community. But somewhere along the lines, people change. I really believe that that I respond to my constituents. My constituents come first. You know, I'm here. Everything that I've become, I started politics when I was very young. I started at 21, the first time I ran. And throughout there, my professional career and my life in public service went parallel with each other. So everything I've been able to accomplish, both in politics and my professional career, I attribute to the people of Northwest Dade. So because of that, I feel an obligation to help our community, even when it may be because right now politics become very polarizing, even if it's against party. I put my people, my district, and Miami-Dade County over politics. So I think maybe that's why, and I wish more people would do that.
I agree with you. I think that's the secret of being liked or disliked,
right?
by people, because sometimes you're not running a popularity contest,
right,
in a way, but you want to do the right thing for the people of that you represent, which is District 13, I believe, right now. So you served in Tallahassee as a senator for a total of about 18 years.
Right.
So how did you find the environment, the work environment there in Tallahassee?
Well, Tallahassee is great. I mean, I came of age in politics in Tallahassee, and I really enjoyed it. You know, party politics plays a big role there. But I learned, when I started politics, that was right after the 2000 election. I think that's when elections became very polarizing, or politics became very polarizing after the George Bush and Gore election.
Al Gore
election, a big experience. Imagine this.
Remember.
My first vote was to certify the electorates to the Electoral College to vote for George Bush. I didn't even know where the bathroom was, but that's what the first vote that we took. So that in itself, I learned a lot because of that year. I learned a lot about the Constitution, the 14th Amendment. I learned a lot about the role of state government because, at the end of the day, the state legislature is the one that ultimately has a responsibility to choose the electorates if there's any questions over the elections of those states. That's built into the Constitution. So I learned a lot about that, about politics and government from the state legislature. I also learned the importance of working together with other folks. Even with that polarizing time that we lived in, we reached out across the aisle, we worked together. I think if an idea is good from one party or the other, we should embrace it and try to push that forward. And, that's why I have friends across the state right now. And it's people that I can rely on and people who I grew up with in the system and who I learned a lot from. And again, at the end of the day, the importance is to be able to represent your community and understand that there's other communities that may not agree with you, but you have to find the common ground to be able to move the state forward. And that's the same thing that I do at the county commission. It's important to understand and relate that Miami-Dade County is a microcosm of the rest of the country. And we're all not going to always agree, But the important thing is to find out what we agree on, and then work from there. Because right now we're always fighting on the things that we don't agree, but there is so much other things that we can come together and agree on. And that's what we should start working on. That's what I learned.
I think senators, that's a very good formula that I wish you could pass it on to our people in Washington. That they really don't have it all together and working.
Wishful thinking, right? So
yeah,
we're trying to get there.
I know, but I mean, it's something that you've been able to accomplish when you were a senator, and now you're accomplishing the same thing, being a commissioner, for the county. And so I think that's it's kudos to you. Because you've been able to accomplish that, and hopefully you'll be able to continue that for a long time to come. So you've been in the commission, in the Dade County Commission now you're in your second term.
My first term, third year.
Okay.
Third year, my first term. I go up for re-election next year for re-election. I'm going to get ready now. Listen, I'm always ready. You're always on the road, always helping your constituents. In my office, I always put constituents first over everything. And we're continuously do that. So we're looking forward to see what happens next year. And if the people of District 13 want me back, I'll be more than happy to serve.
Well, I'm sure they will. You certainly have my vote.
Oh,
for
thank
sure.
you. Oh, that's one. I got one.
One.
There
you go.
We want them back.
So I know that the commission passed a budget not too long ago. Could you tell me a little bit about the highlights of the budget, something that people will really be, happy about or not happy about?
Well, I'll tell you this. We really did push for a 3% tax break for property taxes. Unfortunately, we did not get that. This is the second year that I try to push for that. We did get the 1% reduction, but the 1% reduction still is an increase for individuals, property taxes, because property values have gone up so much that even that 1% reduction still is an increase. But however, there was a lot of good programs in the budget this year. Unfortunately, we did see a little bit of an increase in water and in solid waste, but those increases are very minimal in the budget itself. But the reality is that when we look at solid waste to me is a public health issue. And right now we're facing a serious crisis in this community as it relates to what are we going to do with our garbage. Now that the Covanta plant's burnt down, we really have to come up with a solution.
That is the one in Doral?
That's the one in Doral, and that's the one they've had so many issues with. And my approach to this right now is we have Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach who have plants, who have disposal, have garbage pickups. I think right now the best way that we can do, and I've been working through the South Florida Regional Planning Council to try to regionalize the collection of garbage or garbage or construction materials or mulching, whatever it is. I think we have to take a regional approach because we are running out of land. And the further away we have to ship the garbage, the more expensive it becomes on the residents. So my job is to make sure that we come up with a plan and a solution that will alleviate the pain and we don't see any more increases in solid waste or so on water.
I see. What about how about the transportation system? I know that's been an issue for years that the constituents have been, the people have been concerned about. And I remember way back when they raised the penny on the taxing. That was supposed to be dedicated to to the transportation to improve the transportation system, and it didn't happen all together.
Well, this is why we have to keep our promise to the electorate. I think when we did the half penny sales tax for transportation, it was sold that we were going to be able to enhance the transportation system. And what happened throughout the years is that they used that money for the operation and maintenance of the system as well. I think, too, certain promises weren't met in this community when they originally passed the original Metro Rail. I think the promise was after they finished the first Metro Rail, they were going to do a north-south extension. That never has happened, because what happens is that the north-south extension was a promise that was made, but then you have folks that lived out west that wanted east-west. So then there was a battle between two groups of which one was going to get built first. Look, granted, the east-west extension would have more ridership, so will provide more money or general revenue for the system. But if a promise was made, I think a promise needs to be kept. And I think now you're starting to see that move in Dade County, where we are moving forward with the studies to build the north-south Metro Rail line, whether it's above ground or grade level. But I think it's time to keep our commitment to the residents of northeast, northwest Dade to get that built. But unfortunately, transportation has become a big issue here. We're stuck. It's hard to get anywhere right now in our community. You have to at least leave 1 hour before you go anywhere, because it's becoming harder and harder. And I think transportation is one of those. If we don't get this right, or if at least we don't start addressing the issues, we're not going to be able to continue to grow. And the only way you can have a community is if you have a community that can get you from A to B and it continues to grow. So those are issues that we're grappling with, and we'll continue to fight with those. But I think now with this new commission, they are taking different approaches, new approaches, and trying to meet the commitments of former promises that were made to our constituencies.
It is important, it's very important to have that the way it's supposed to be or should be, mainly because of the influx of people that we have coming into our state. I think the last number I heard, it was like 1,300 people were moving into our state every single day. Do you have any idea, out of the 1,300, how many of those are coming down to South Florida?
I would say 1,299. That's the problem that we have now.
So more so, yeah. We need to worry about the transportation
system.
But
Fred, and that's it. You have a lot of people that want to be down here, but we have to invest in our infrastructure. Whether it's infrastructure on roads, whether it's infrastructure on Metro Rail, or whether it's infrastructure under the ground. A lot of elected officials or politicians don't like investing in these infrastructure projects as no one sees them, right? But we have a decaying infrastructure here. This is why we see the issues with the Bay. I'm very committed to the septic to sewer transition, because that protects the waterways, that protects our aquifer, and we need to find a way. Listen, if Hialeah did it years ago, right? The city of Hialeah went from septic to sewer. Why can't we do it across the county? And this is why I vote against every septic tank that comes in. I'm not going to vote for any septic tank because I think it's hypocritical on my part. If I'm pushing septic to sewer, why would I allow any plan? And listen, I know some areas it's hard to connect because they're far away from the lines, but we have to be intellectually honest of where we want to go, and our votes have to reflect the same way. So this is why I never vote for any septic. No offense to anyone that has a septic tank or comes before us. Just know that if you have a septic tank, I'm always going to vote against it, but you'll pass it from the county commission.
Also, adding to that, septic tanks are, because I've lived in a place with a septic tank, in the Keys and even here in town. But it's more of a rural type of system. Everybody wants a sewer because it's a lot cleaner and better to maintain. And even if you have to pay whatever you have to pay, it's really the way to go.
Yeah, and there's no doubt there's a cost. Listen, it's expensive to connect communities to sewer. But we have to continue to see push. Just because it costs a little bit of money doesn't mean that we have to stop. There's programs at the state and there's programs at the federal level that we can tap into. And with local dollars, both at the county and municipalities, I think collectively we can do this and really get this county connected all on sewer.
That's great. All right, so I think we've talked plenty about politics and about your plans and the way you do things in the commission and what have you. Let's talk a little bit about you as a person. I know that people sometimes say people go into politics and they get rich for doing whatever.
Not this one.
I've known you for many years. You're still the same Rene Garcia that I met 20 years ago. I remember then when you were in Tallahassee, you bought a Jeep for me.
Yes.
Yeah. So
which I still have.
You still have it.
I still.
You're like my son. My son still has his original Jeep. So anyway, I know that you are involved and you're a partner in the Sierra Medical system or So why don't you tell the general public a little bit about
That's pretty
Sierra
cool.
Medical
Well, look,
Center?
I'm really excited about this, Fred. Yes. And no, I'm not rich. I think when I was in the legislature, the funny joke was that, they say the Republicans are the party of the rich and Democrats are party of the poor. Well, let me tell you something. I debunked that because as a Republican, the richest member at that time when I was there was Skip Campbell, who passed away. He was a senator back then, and I was the poorest member of the legislature for quite some time. But now I'm really excited that keeping everything here in my community and district. Recently, we invested little money that I had. We invested in Sierra Medical, who has been here in this community, Miami Lakes, actually for 30 years. And I've always been involved in healthcare. I've done a lot of my policy in Tallahassee in healthcare, and honestly, with my business on the consulting side, I've helped people. I realize that I've either made people money or I've saved people money because of my know-how in the industry. And I finally said, this is a time for me to take a leap. Sometimes in business, as you very well know, it's all about timing. And I took that leap of faith and I really saved my money and I got all my whatever money I had and I just left myself a little bit of savings and I invested now in Sierra Medical, has been here for 30 years. And it's a primary care facility we modernize with the times. We do IV therapy, we do semi-gluten and hopefully to help people lose weight and I'm really excited about that. We have a great team. We have Dr. Perez Pueyes, who's a primary care doctor who has privileges all over the community and works out of Mount Sinai Baptist. And we have Lydia Sierra, who is the president of the organization, and I am the CEO now of Sierra Medical. And I'm really excited that it's here in the district and here in Miami Lakes. It's right behind Casabana. They've been there for 30 years, and we're now in the process of growing and expanding. We've been able to remodel the place. It looks really cool. We are now, my goal is not to have, these clinics. I'm not looking to do those big clinics. I want to make sure that we have a primary care office that go back to the basics, right? Make sure that people feel comfortable with their doctor in a nice, clean facility. Come in, see their doctor, and get out. You don't have to sit around and wait. My goal is to go back to that idea that I grew up with, going to your primary care doctor, your specialist, being referred out, and that's what we're doing. Thank God we're working on getting all the health plans already, or the insurances. We've signed up I think we're signed up with almost all of them, and we're well on our way. So we're really excited about it.
Wonderful. How many members does Sierra Medical has right now?
Right now we have about 800, 900 members.
Oh, that's a good size.
Yes,
Good
again,
size.
that was a number that came in with Lydia Sierra, but we've been able to grow it, so we keep on growing it and try to offer alternative health care here for the residents of Miami Lakes and Northwest State.
And being familiar with the area that Sierra Medical is at, it's very convenient because you have Casabana very close by.
Yeah, but if you go to the Sierra Medical, I hope you eat healthy when you go to Casabana. No me comas
well,
frijoles.
but they
have a
still
little
have to have the
salad.
cafecito
Yeah, have
either
un cafecito
before
sin
or
azúcar.
after.
Yeah, have a café sin azúcar without sugar. Make sure it's something healthy.
But it is wonderful. It is wonderful to to see you here and to have you with us. I'd like to officially invite you to our business expo tomorrow, the Main Street Hotel in the ballroom. We have that from 5 to 8 tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So I hope to see you there and your staff there and talk to our people. And so hopefully we see you tomorrow.
Now, listen, I appreciate it, and I will. I think we'll be able to be there. And listen, honestly, Fred, I want to thank you not for having me here, but I really do believe that the work that you have done for this community through your philanthropic work and through your business and through your involvement, not only for Miami Lakes, but for Hialeah and Northwest State, you really are an inspiration to many, and I thank you for taking this chamber to the next level and bringing this community together. So I really appreciate you, and I think everyone in this community owes you a debt of gratitude for the work that you have been doing, and I think we all have a great deal of respect for you.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, but we do. We do.
I try.
I know you're a very humble man, but I think sometimes it's, we have to thank you for the work you do, and I know you don't like that, but thank you. I really appreciate you.
And November 10th, I believe, November 18th is going to be the unveiling of the street, I guess, that you were involved in nominated me for. So it'll be Fred Senra Way as of November 18th. I guess they're gonna have the whatever they do, whatever to do the unveiling.
You deserve that.
At 10 o'clock in the morning.
You deserve that and much more. So we think proud of you, my friends.
Well, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to have you here, and we hope to see you again.
Absolutely.
And our viewers, we'd like to thank you for putting up with us for this few minutes, and until next time.